I just wanted to call in because I still believe in God, but I'm not. I don't have any religious affiliation, and I wanted to know maybe an opinion of someone who is not religious either on where they think the country is going in terms of if we're making progress getting away from religion or if the country is becoming more of a theocracy. I'm feeling just for the past few years with a lot of the presidents who have said that God told them to run and a lot of things we have seen after the past election, that it is turning into more of a theocracy, which is scaring me, but I don't know if other people are seeing something that I'm not, that we're actually getting away from it or if we're leaning more towards it.
So, Sarah, you called on a perfect day because there's an author that I greatly respect who's coming out with a new book in 2 weeks called Sex, Power, and Partisanship, How Evolutionary Science Makes Sense of Our Political Divide. I've got Hector Garcia as a guest. I think that he could probably do a better job of explaining that than I can.
Well, I have some thoughts on that, if I may. I think we are getting more polarized. So the partisan divide is getting wider, and conservatives are taking more hardline stances, and so are liberals in general. So I think, among conservatives there does seem to be, a hardening stance of conservative values, including religiosity. But then again, the nuns appear to be a growing demographic. But can I ask you something? You said you're religious, you believe in God, but the idea of a theocracy frightens you, that we may be moving towards that. Why does that frighten you? What about that frightens you?
Well, I'm not particularly religious. Right now I'm debating, I'm grappling with the idea that there might be a God. I don't know. That's kind of where my stance is, but I came from religious fundamentalism. I grew up independent Baptist, so I see, I've seen a lot of that in my life, and that was terrifying, and I see it in politics and in the government, so it's still very scary to me, but I wouldn't call myself necessarily religious.
Yeah, it is scary. It is scary. I think there are a lot of reasons to be scared by that. I mean, what religions have shown us over and over and over is that they really like squashing free speech and free thought and women's rights. Boy, that's something that we could talk about all day. So I think there's a big reason to fear a move towards theocracy. And there are people on the I've seen the right. I've seen a movement in the right in this country that really I want to call it the American Taliban, because they're wanting a lot of the same things. Control of women's reproduction, squashing free speech, First Amendment rights. It's scary. So,
it is.
But there are specific reasons why it's scary.
Can I jump in just a little bit?
Please jump in.
Sure. So, Sarah, there's a lot of scary stuff going on. But good news. Are you ready for the good news?
Sure.
It's not getting worse. We're just learning more about it. There weren't less bigots during segregation. There were more. But the fact is, we live in a world where we're more interconnected, and we're finding out about it, and we're dealing with it. That we are less bigoted in 2019 than we were in 1999. That's 20 years. Right? The fact that more people are able to stand up and talk about it, right? The fact that we have amazing authors like Hector. I'm sorry, dude. I'm a fangirl. Oh, dude, yeah. Can I give him one more plug, Sarah? One more plug. If you like Seth Andrews, he's got this silky, velvety tone that I just want to tuck me in at night. I love that guy. Yeah. He narrates your first book.
Yeah, Alpha God. He does the narration for the audio.
Oh my gosh. I already read it, but I just kind of want to buy it just to listen to Seth Andrews for a little bit. But going back to it, sorry, I wanted to throw the plug while you're here.
I appreciate that.
Sarah, we are growing. We are making things better. And the fact is, yes, it's scary because we have work to do, but we're doing it. But we're helping each other, but we're able to have empathy when we can see somebody who pulls up a smartphone and goes, look at this. It is hard to turn your eyes away when you see abuse, right? It is hard to justify deep indoctrination at its core, right? And you might think, oh, well, what does that mean? It means that one of the things that's been on my mind recently is Proverbs 31. It just kind of stuck in my mind. I was very Christian, and Proverbs 31 goes over what a good Christian wife should be. You know, and there are all these different things, and some of them seem very empowering, but it ultimately breaks down to you're as good as you are useful to your husband. And I mean, that is, it's painful. And you can go right now, look up Proverbs 31, because if you type it into Google, the first 5 pages are going to be how to be a Proverbs 31 wife. And the thing is on its face, when we look at it together, when you actually bring it out, sunlight is the best disinfectant. Over time, we're going to be able to point these things out. And the more we have these conversations, the more we're going to find that it doesn't stand up. A woman is not the compilation of useful things that she does for a man. Yeah. Right? A woman is infinitely more. You are everything that you want to be, and it's the good and it's the bad because we're just human. But to sit there and create a list, by the way, which is impossible to be perfect for, right? What you're doing is you're setting up a environment. Well, you know this. You know, you're setting up an environment where people are, you know, going always, I'm not enough, I'm not good enough, I'm not, you know, and creating this nature of subservience. It's painful, but when I was in church, I can tell you that it seemed like that was the entire world, right? If you're a Proverbs 1 through 30 man, you get a Proverbs 31 wife. And in 2019, look what we've got. Look what we've done. There are 1,035 people watching this right now.
Can I add to what you just said? I'm so glad you brought up that proverb. And I think an important question to ask is, who stands to gain from a theocracy? Who stands to gain? Follow that. Follow powerful men stand to gain. Who stands to gain from a doctrine that says women should be subservient? Who stands to gain from a doctrine that says don't question the power structure, don't question the hierarchy, don't question the rules? There are moneyed interests in this country that a lot of them are probably not religious at all, but they have an interest in the religious voting populace just voting with the church because that can be steered to their advantage. So I would follow that. I think that's an important solution that shows like yours are helping people to question.
Love you too, man, and give people a place to land.
That's
Sarah.
Too.
It's not just about tearing that down; it's about building up something better. And the fact that you're asking those questions means you're giving yourself the opportunity to figure out how you want to make it better. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Heck yeah.
I mean, I see what you're saying, and I feel like we have made a lot of progress. It's just like the stuff from like, there's even people who aren't like super religious that are making points from like apparent, like, I don't know if I really believe it, but from like a scientific standpoint about how things should be on the conservative side. And there's more of that too. And I don't know who stands to gain from it, but that's also becoming a popular trend. Like I've known people who were kind of in the middle before and they're extremely on the conservative side now. So, I mean, even though I feel like we're making progress, I don't know how to feel about it.
Who stands to gain from that? So one thing about conservatism is they're way, way, way more comfortable with social hierarchy. They're way more comfortable, and this is measurable. This is measurable. So
I just want to throw a quick flag for you two because I want to hear this conversation. But as a 501c3 nonprofit, we are not allowed to endorse any candidates.
No candidates.
So as long as we can stay away from that, I'm happy to talk about issues because the ACA can make stances on issues. I just want to like make sure we don't wander into that territory and lose our nonprofit.
Word. Now, well, what I was going to say is, you know, the psychology of conservatism is way more comfortable with social hierarchies, way more comfortable with one group having more and one group having less. That is who has an interest, and that's who stands to gain with conservatism. So, you know, just think about that.
Okay.
That was my point.
Cheers.
Yeah.
All right, Sarah. Take care, and I hope that helped. Really, honestly, the best way to feel better about it is to do something. You know, get active. If you don't know how to get active, you can call. If you want to email, you can shoot an email to mail@talkheathen.com, and we will help. There are tons of places that you can help, and I'd love to be able to point you in a good direction. If you cannot, if you don't have the time, that's okay. There are other things that you can do because you can help support other content creators, right? You can help support us. And if you agree with what we're doing, then you can do that. You could do it monetarily by becoming a patron, or you can do it by spreading the word. You can hit that like button. You can subscribe, because I actually have way too much of my self-esteem wrapped up in that. So if you haven't subscribed, guys, girls, everybody, hit that subscribe button. That'd be really nice. You could leave a good review on Google Play or iTunes, and I guarantee you that there are people who go through atheist podcasts because they're atheists and just leave bad reviews the whole way along. Hit that thumbs up, and maybe we can actually grow in rankings so that people can find us.